Have you noticed how many men believe that aging means accepting the end of vitality, mental clarity, and even their sex life? Maybe you've felt it yourself. The body slowing down, the mind feeling tired. That sense that your inner flame is fading little by little. But what if I told you there's a simple, natural, and scientifically proven way to reignite your energy, protect your health, and reconnect with your life? In this video, I'll reveal why a private habit, one often surrounded by myths and shame, may actually be one of the most powerful allies for your longevity. Hormone balance, prostate health, mental clarity, and even your self-esteem. This isn't about rumors or empty theories. It's about science, clinical experience, and real stories of men who rediscovered their strength well into their 60s, 70s, and 80s. If you've been feeling low on energy, noticing your mind isn't as sharp, or believing your masculinity no longer has a place at your age, this video is for you. Here you'll find answers, liberating truths, and a practical path to prove that aging doesn't mean fading away. It means reinventing yourself. I'm Dr. Charles Bennett. For over 30 years, I've worked with men in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. Men who have fought in combat, operated heavy machinery, fought fires, taught, and raised families. I've helped over 18,000 of them regain their vitality when the world told them to simply embrace aging. I don't deal in internet rumors or bedroom myths. Everything I share comes from clinical experience, peer-reviewed science, and the hard truth I've seen in my own patients. Researchers like Dr. Beverly Whipple, one of the world's leading experts on sexual health and aging, and Dr. Cheryl Kingsburg, a clinical psychologist specializing in sexual medicine, have demonstrated through decades of studies that sexual activity, like masturbation, even alone, isn't just about pleasure. It's about preserving your body's function. But here's the problem. In our culture, sexuality in old age is often treated as a joke, or worse, as a shameful secret. This mentality has robbed many men of one of the simplest tools for protecting their prostate, hormones, circulation, mental clarity, and self-esteem. This video isn't based on myths or cheap thrills. It's based on science, experience, and the belief that you still have gas in the tank, if you know how to keep it running. Before we talk about how this private habit can protect you, we have to clear the air. Because most men over 60 are living with beliefs about masturbation that are flat out wrong. And those lies are costing them their health? Myth number 1. Masturbation drains your strength and weakens you. This idea has deep roots in old religious teachings, in manliness books from the early 1900s, even in locker room talk. I've had patients, strong, hard-working men, who believed that releasing too often would make them tired, kill their testosterone, and even weaken their heart. The truth: medical research says the opposite. When done in moderation, sexual release can actually stimulate healthy testosterone production, lower stress hormones like cortisol, and improve circulation, the very things that keep you strong. In fact, a study in the Journal of Sexual Medicine found that sexual activity in older men was linked to better physical function and lower risk of cardiovascular issues. Myth number 2. Frequent ejaculation causes prostate problems. This one is dangerous because it pushes men to avoid a natural preventive behavior. The reality? A major study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association followed over 30,000 men for nearly 2 decades. They found that men who ejaculated 21 times or more per month had up to 31% lower risk of developing prostate cancer compared to those with less frequent release. Why? Because ejaculation helps flush the prostate of potentially harmful substances and improves blood flow in the region. Think of it like keeping the oil in your engine moving. It prevents buildup and keeps the parts working smoothly. Myth number 3. It's only about pleasure, and pleasure is just for the young. I can't tell you how many times I've heard older men say, "That part of my life is over." They see self-pleasure as something for teenagers or newlyweds, not for a 70-year-old grandfather. Here's the fact. Sexual stimulation, whether alone or with a partner, triggers a cascade of biological responses. Increases dopamine, the motivation and reward chemical. Boosts oxytocin, which promotes connection and reduces loneliness. Improves sleep quality by helping your nervous system relax. And none of these benefits have an expiration date. If anything, they become more critical as you age, because they counteract the mental fog, emotional numbness, and low drive that creep in with the years. Myth number 4. At this age, masturbation is a sign of loneliness, decline, or abnormality. This is one of the most toxic and destructive beliefs an older man can carry, and it's not rooted in science, but in decades of cultural baggage. It comes from old religious teachings that tied self-touch to guilt, sin, or moral weakness. It's reinforced by social stigma that sees sexuality in old age, especially self-pleasure, as inappropriate or shameful. And for many men, there's an added layer of performance anxiety. If I'm doing this alone, it must mean I can't perform with a partner anymore. Maybe I'm losing my manhood. Here's the truth. None of that is grounded in medical reality. Sexual desire does not have an expiration date, and masturbation does not mark the end of your sexual identity. It's a physiological process, one that helps regulate hormones, maintain pelvic muscle tone, improve circulation, and keep your brain's reward systems active. Psychologically, it's not a sign of failure. It's a form of self-connection. In fact, studies in sexual medicine show that older adults who engage in regular sexual activity, solo or partnered, report higher self-esteem, lower rates of depression, and stronger life satisfaction. That's not loneliness. That's maintenance. That's health. The idea that you should lose your sexual drive with age is simply false. Desire doesn't disappear unless illness, medication, or emotional suppression gets in the way. And self-touch can actually be part of keeping that spark alive. So let's be clear. Choosing to stimulate yourself at 65, 75, or 85 is not a confession of weakness. It's a declaration that you're still alive, still connected to your body, and still willing to fight against the slow fade of aging. Here's the truth. None of that is grounded in medical reality. Sexual desire does not have an expiration date, and masturbation does not mark the end of your sexual identity. It's a physiological process, one that helps regulate hormones, maintain pelvic muscle tone, improve circulation, and keep your brain's reward systems active. Psychologically, it's not a sign of failure. It's a form of self-connection. In fact, studies in sexual medicine show that older adults who engage in regular sexual activity, solo or partnered, report higher self-esteem, lower rates of depression, and stronger life satisfaction. That's not loneliness. That's maintenance. That's health. The idea that you should lose your sexual drive with age is simply false. Desire doesn't disappear unless illness, medication, or emotional suppression gets in the way. And self-touch can actually be part of keeping that spark alive. So let's be clear. Choosing to stimulate yourself at 65, 75, or 85 is not a confession of weakness. It's a declaration that you're still alive, still connected to your body, and still willing to fight against the slow fade of aging. Breaking these myths is the first step. Because if you carry false beliefs about your own body, you'll block yourself from one of the simplest, cheapest, and most natural health strategies available to you. Next, I'll move into 4. Impact Story. A real lifestyle patient case that makes this personal and relatable. Let me tell you about João. Not his real name, but a real man. A retired firefighter from Ohio, 72 years old when he first came to see me. He walked into my office wearing a faded navy jacket with the fire department emblem on the chest. Strong handshake, but his eyes told a different story. They were tired. Not the tired of a hard day's work, but the tired of a man who feels his light has been dimming for years. "Doc," he said, "I don't feel like myself anymore. I wake up, and it's like I'm watching life happen from behind a foggy window. I'm not sad exactly, but I'm not happy either. My body's slowing down, my mind feels dull. My wife passed away 7 years ago, and I feel like I've gone gray inside." As he spoke, I recognized the pattern. Emotional numbness, not deeply depressed, but disconnected from life. Chronic fatigue, despite sleeping enough hours. Isolation, spending more time in front of the TV than with friends. When I asked about his sexual health, he hesitated. "Doc, I haven't been with anyone since my wife. And, well, I thought, at my age, that part of life was just over. I don't do that anymore. Feels weird to even think about it." At this age, masturbation's a sign of, well, loneliness, decline, or something wrong with me, right? That sentence hit me, because it's exactly what so many men think. So I explained the science, how regular sexual stimulation can keep his hormones balanced, improve circulation, protect his prostate, and even help clear that mental fog he was living in. He was skeptical, but I gave him a simple, private plan. Nothing extreme, just consistent self-connection a few times a week, along with light exercise and better hydration. 6 weeks later, João walked back into my office, and I could see the change before he spoke. His skin had more color, his handshake was stronger, and his eyes, they had that spark again. "Doc," he said with a grin, "I don't know if I should thank you or be mad at you, because now I feel like I've been asleep for years. My head's clear, I've got more energy, I'm sleeping like a rock. Even my buddies noticed I'm cracking jokes again." That's the power of breaking the shame and using your body's natural mechanisms to keep you alive inside. And João's story isn't unique. I've seen it happen hundreds of times. Most men don't realize this, but self-stimulation in later life isn't just about pleasure. It's about maintenance. Your body is a machine, and like any machine, if you stop using certain systems, they start to fail. Here's what regular, healthy masturbation can do for your body after 60. 1. Prostate health and urinary function. Think of your prostate like a filter in an engine. If it sits idle too long, fluids stagnate, toxins build up, and the system gets sluggish. Regular ejaculation helps flush the prostate, improve blood flow, and reduce inflammation. In fact, that massive Harvard study in the Journal of the American Medical Association showed men who ejaculated 21 times or more per month had up to 31% lower risk of developing prostate cancer. Clinically, I've seen it help with urinary flow, less dribbling and hesitancy, reduced nighttime bathroom trips, because the gland isn't swollen or congested, lower discomfort, fewer sensations of pressure or heaviness in the pelvis. 2. Hormonal regulation. After 60, testosterone naturally declines, but chronic stress makes it drop faster. Sexual stimulation, even solo, triggers short bursts of testosterone production and reduces cortisol, your body's main stress hormone. That means better muscle preservation, improved motivation and drive, a more stable mood throughout the day. It's not a replacement for medical treatment if your testosterone is dangerously low, but it's a way to keep the natural production you still have working for you, not against you. 3. Pelvic floor strength and circulation. When you stimulate yourself to orgasm, you're engaging muscles most men don't even think about. The pelvic floor. These muscles support your bladder, bowel, and sexual function. Weak pelvic floor muscles can lead to incontinence, erectile issues, and reduced sensitivity. Regular sexual activity keeps them active, much like doing light resistance training keeps your arms and legs strong. It also boosts circulation in your lower body, essential for keeping tissues oxygenated and nerves healthy. Think of it as sending fresh oil through old pipes. Keeps everything smoother, longer. The American Urological Association confirms that regular sexual activity can help preserve erectile function and pelvic floor strength even after the age of 70. Next, we'll go deeper into 6. Mental and emotional benefits. Because the changes in your mind can be just as powerful, sometimes more, than the changes in your body. Physical health is only half the story. What happens in your brain and emotions when you stay sexually active, even solo, can be just as life-changing. 1. Mental clarity and protection against cognitive fog. Many men in their 60s and 70s describe the same feeling. "Doc, my mind just isn't as sharp. It's like I'm walking through a light mist all day." That fog isn't always from aging alone. During sexual stimulation and orgasm, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin, chemicals that improve focus, reaction time, and memory processing. It's like pressing the refresh button on your mental operating system. Over time, this stimulation may help preserve neural connections and keep your brain more resilient against cognitive decline. 2. Mood regulation and defense against depression. Loneliness and depression hit hard in later life, especially after retirement, loss of a partner, or reduced social activity. Sexual release triggers oxytocin and endorphins, natural mood elevators that combat stress and anxiety. It's not just a quick boost. Regular release can lead to more stable mood patterns, making you less prone to those heavy emotional dips. Clinical psychologist Dr. Cheryl Kingsburg has shown in research that older adults who maintain sexual activity report higher life satisfaction and lower depression rates, even when that activity is solo. 3. Better sleep quality. Deep, restorative sleep becomes harder to achieve with age, yet it's vital for hormone regulation, memory, and immune function. Sexual release activates the parasympathetic nervous system, your body's rest and digest mode. The result? Faster sleep onset, fewer nighttime awakenings, and deeper, more refreshing rest. 4. Strengthening self-worth. Aging can make some men feel invisible, like they've lost their edge, their usefulness, even their identity. Masturbation, when approached without shame, is a way of reclaiming ownership over your body. It's a quiet, private act of saying, "I'm still here, I still feel, I still have drive." That sense of self-connection radiates outward. It affects how you carry yourself, how you interact with people, and how you see your own future. A study led by Dr. Kingsburg confirmed that older adults engaging in regular sexual activity, partnered or solo, not only scored higher in measures of life satisfaction, but also reported feeling more in control of their emotional state. If you're with me so far, you can see this isn't about dirty habits. It's about keeping the lights on in your mind and soul. Next, we'll cover how to practice safely and mindfully, because there's a right way to make this a health habit, not just a quick release. For many men, this isn't just about starting a new habit. It's about unlearning decades of conditioning. 1. Acknowledge the shame. Don't hide from it. If you grew up in the 1950s or 60s, chances are you were taught, directly or indirectly, that masturbation was dirty, sinful, or a sign of weakness. Those lessons may have come from church, school, or even your own parents. But here's the problem. When you carry that shame into your 60s, 70s, and 80s, it doesn't just limit your sexual expression. It limits your health. Your body doesn't care about outdated social rules. It runs on biology, not opinion. 2. Redefine what it means. Masturbation isn't a substitute for intimacy. It's part of personal maintenance. Just like brushing your teeth or stretching your muscles, it's about keeping a system in your body functional. It can coexist with a healthy romantic life or stand alone as self-care when you're not with a partner. 3. Address religious and cultural concerns. Faith and health can coexist. Many men reconcile this by understanding that sexual health is part of the stewardship of the body, taking care of the body you've been given. Even within faith-based communities, more modern medical perspectives acknowledge that sexual release, when practiced respectfully and privately, is not harmful. 4. Let go of the performance. Pressure. Some men avoid masturbation because they see it as proof they can't perform with a partner. But in truth, staying sexually active alone can help preserve the very function you'd use with a partner. Maintaining erectile quality, sensation, and pelvic strength. 5. Recognize the real cost of suppression. Suppressing your sexual health doesn't make the need disappear, it often makes problems worse. Prostate congestion, hormonal imbalances, stress buildup, and even increased irritability can follow. Choosing to stay active, even alone, is choosing to prevent avoidable decline. Breaking the taboo isn't about turning your back on your values. It's about updating your beliefs with facts so you can live longer, feel better, and keep your dignity. Up next, we'll move into Personal Reactivation Plan, a simple, step-by-step method to help you safely and discreetly bring this back into your life. You've heard the science, you've heard the stories. Now it's time to put this into action in a way that's private, safe, and effective. Step 1. Commit to 7 days of self-connection. For the next week, set aside 10 to 15 minutes, at least 2 to 3 times, for intentional self-stimulation. This is not about chasing intense pleasure. It's about waking up the systems in your body that may have been dormant. Step 2. Create the right environment. Choose a private, comfortable space where you won't be interrupted. Dim the lights if it helps you relax. Turn off your phone or TV to reduce distraction. The goal is to focus on sensation and breathing. Step 3. Add light, physical movement. Before starting, do a few minutes of light stretching or slow walking. This increases blood flow, primes your circulation, and makes the experience more beneficial for your muscles and pelvic floor. Step 4. Focus on breathing. Slow, deep breathing during stimulation helps lower cortisol, improve oxygenation, and deepen relaxation afterward. This is especially important for men who tend to rush through the act. Slowing down maximizes hormonal and neurological benefits. Step 5. Combine with complementary habits. For best results, pair this practice with regular physical activity, walking, light weights, or resistance bands. Balanced diet, lean proteins, vegetables, and healthy fats. Hydration, 6 to 8 glasses of water daily to support circulation and prostate function. Mind exercises, reading, puzzles, or memory games to keep your brain active. Step 6. Track. How you feel at the end of the week. Note changes in energy levels, mood stability, sleep quality, confidence, and sense of vitality. Even subtle improvements are proof that your body is responding. This isn't about a single week. It's about reactivating a part of your life that supports your health for the years ahead. So here's the truth, man to man. Aging doesn't have to mean fading. It doesn't have to mean losing your edge, your drive, or the clarity in your mind. For too long, men have been told that sexual activity, especially masturbation, is either irrelevant, shameful, or harmful after a certain age. We've now crushed that myth with science, real stories, and proven benefits. Physically, this habit can protect your prostate, keep your hormones in balance, strengthen your pelvic floor, and improve your circulation. Mentally, it can sharpen your focus, lift your mood, help you sleep deeply, and restore your self-worth. And emotionally, it's a way to reconnect with your own body, on your own terms, without apology. You're not just a body getting older. You are life, and life can be reignited at any moment, no matter your age. The choice is yours. Let the flame fade, or feed it and feel it burn again. If this video opened your eyes, here's what I want you to do. Like this video. It helps more men find the truth. Share it with a friend, brother, or fellow veteran who might need to hear it. And watch my other video, The Shocking Truth About Weak Erections. After 60. It will change the way you think about male aging forever. Remember, the quiet, private choices you make today will decide the man you are tomorrow. Keep your fire. Stay alive inside.